This is the Throttle Out Show presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Good evening, beautiful people. It has been a scorcher of a day here at the studio in Rockwall, Texas. How you doing tonight, everyone? And Harley Johnson, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I got myself a Truly for tonight's show. I'm ready to talk about some monster trucks, but we got to bring on our other guy.
Yeah, we need to get him in here. Austin Spence up there in the heart of Detroit Rock City. How's Kid Rock doing?
Honestly, if he's like any of the rest of us, man, it's been a scorcher up here as well. Like, we haven't been able to do anything outside. I've just been inside, just soaking up the AC all day, drinking some Vernors, you know, the best pop that's out there.
No, I disagree.
Drinking some trash.
Are you drinking soda?
No, it's pop. You know, we got pop up here. We have Fago. We've got Coney dogs and homemade chips. You know,
how about you there, bud? Huh?
How about you there, bud? Oh, sorry. Let me scoot on past you.
Well, hey, a lot has happened in the monster truck industry this weekend, and we need to get rolling. We need to get talking about some monster trucks. I've been itching all day to get this show started, Austin.
You're itching. I think your dog might have fleas, man. Harley, I think you need to put your man in a flea collar or something. But
I don't disagree.
You said you wanted to talk about something related to a podcast.
Yeah, so it was actually really interesting. So for those of you that don't know, Mr. Tweedy here actually joined one of his buddies in a separate podcast, and it was actually really interesting to listen to. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it called Podmosh or Mosh Pod? What is it called?
Podmosh. Yes.
Podmosh. So it was actually really interesting kind of listening a little bit more about your backstory and everything, but your buddy made a very, very interesting observation, and it just kind of was like an eye-opener for me. You know, that was, you know, how close we are in the monster truck community, how we all know everybody, and in this multi-billion-dollar industry that stretches across not just the nation, but essentially the world, and everybody knows everybody. It's like that small town, you know, everybody knows everybody. It's like that relationship you hope to have with your church. And after he made that sentence, I was like, oh my gosh, monster trucks is literally my religion.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hold on. No, I don't mean that. No. What I mean is monster trucks, it, like you said, our community, like that is our church for us. It just is. And this is why I say that. It has been a struggle for me. Harley and I were talking about this, I don't know, first thing this morning. It's been a struggle for me to get involved and get engaged with a church. I know I'm not getting into politics. I'm not getting into religion right now. But my point is, it's been so difficult for me because the last 3 years of being full-time in monster trucks, it's been just that. You were with all your other believers, essentially, right? Y'all are engaged with one another, how to pick each other up, how to build each other up, how to make each other better and learn from each other. Yeah, I mean, monster trucks and this community, we are our own church, our own group of people, and we believe in monster trucks. We believe
it is. It's a way. It's a way of life.
It is.
Can we get the 10 commandments of monster trucks? Like, is that something that we can do?
Thou shalt always throttle out will always be number one.
I love that. I love it. So anyway, yes, a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah, and I guess we'll go ahead and we'll start with the Pensacola show. Harley, why don't you reel us into some video footage of what happened at that Pensacola show, would you?
Yeah, it looks like to start off the weekend, Jester had to change out a motor.
Son of a gun.
Yikes.
Never a good sign to start off the 3-show weekend.
Does that give you guys some flashbacks before heading up to Detroit?
Yes.
I mean, that
Detroit and St. Louis.
In St. Louis, I mean, that truck just doesn't like motors.
That bald mechanic they got on their team is one good looking son of a gun, if I'm saying so myself. Love you, Yo-Yo.
We had Buddy Tompkins with a nice save during his 2-wheel.
There you go.
Hey,
now, I'm
looks
kind
like
of surprised that we're wanting to even talk about this because Mr. Tristan England completely swept this weekend. I mean, like no one was even there. Look at this guy.
It was a Tristan England show, huh?
It was a Tristan England weekend. I mean, show 1, he took home 3 wins. Show 2, he took almost all the wins except racing, and then he took overall again today.
Shoot.
Dude, I hate it. So as far as company drivers go, Tristan's like easily in my top spot. I mean, this kid has been, I say kid, he's like the same age as me. But he's been dominating in stadiums and arenas. I mean, he could do it all, man.
Is there anything that this guy can't do? I think he's making a bold statement by going straight from arenas to stadiums, dominating in both areas. I mean, why has he not been in a stadium? Why has he not been doing more for the company? You know, they waited a long time to bring him in to the seat. It's a shame.
Do you think that he's permanently going to be in Megalodon now? I feel like he fits Megalodon now.
I hope not. Honestly, like Megalodon is it's obviously a merchandise truck. I see Tristan. I've said this before. Tristan definitely fits better in El Toro Loco, and the reason I say that is because he's from Texas. And El Toro Loco has always been that truck that's like the truck from south of the border. They always promote it. So I think bringing that Southern Texas, zing, with Tristan, I think that's a good, perfect fit, not a shark.
Well, you're not wrong. I agree with that. But at the same time, Tristan he could drive anything, man. Yeah. I mean, he's going to make anything look good. He's the guy you want on your team. I'm surprised they haven't thrown him in a Gravedigger truck, if we're being honest, because they want that truck to win. That guy's going to put any truck that he's in the winner's circle. They want their best drivers in those digger trucks. I'm just saying, as much as I dislike this truck that we're repping back here tonight, Austin, I don't know if you paid any attention. We changed our background.
Hold on. What? Wait a minute. What? So why am I repping Bigfoot and yet you're repping Old Gravedigger? I'm confused. Okay, you got some explaining to do. Why do you have a Jolly Roger flag, Mr. I don't like Gravedigger over there in Texas? What's going on? What's the deal, man?
To be fair, this flag came off Gravedigger when my dad drove it, so it wasn't when an Anderson drove it.
Okay, I didn't even know BJ drove a Gravedigger. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was my 16th birthday. He drove it in Fresno, and yeah, I'll always remember that.
We figured we would put it up for tonight since we were going to be talking about the Andersons. Seems like all damn night. It was just kind of their picture being on the thumbnail. We kind of rep the black and green tonight. So that's why. Now, what else do we have to talk about at Pensacola? Or are we done with Pensacola?
I couldn't find footage on Pensacola other than Tristan winning everything, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Just Tristan just kind of hogging the winner's circle and not letting it up, which is kind of funny because we were all predicting that this is what was going to happen in the LA show with Ryan. Being an Ryan Anderson weekend.
You're right. Now, one last thing we got with Pensacola before we move on is obviously Randy Brown did return. He won an element.
He won racing show 1. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, it's big for somebody.
If he won something today, I don't know. I haven't found a lot of footage on today's show.
Now, it's huge for a guy like him who hasn't been in the seat for a long time to jump back in the truck and win, first show out. So kudos to you, Randy Brown. You're obviously a very talented, skilled driver. We've been missing you in the seat, watching you drive Gravedigger. Legendary. All right, let's get on out there to LA because some stuff happened out there in LA. Huh?
Do we have to talk about California?
Yes, we do, just for a little bit.
First of all, before we get into stats and all that stuff, let us just say this is huge that Monster Trucks is coming back to the state of California
at 100% capacity as well.
It sucks that it wasn't in a stadium type show, but I mean, you got to think about baseball's in full season. That's the stadium that they used. I'm sure they had other elements, or other events going on there as well. So they had to make something work. There's a lot of diehard monster truck fans out in California, especially in that LA Anaheim area. So they threw everybody into the Staples Center this weekend. Roll that video footage, Harley Joe. Night 1.
Brandon Benson and Ryan Anderson.
Yep, we had Ryan Anderson take the racing win, night 1. And then for skills, we had Armando come back and win the skills challenge.
Armando hopping back in a truck after not being in there in a while and just winning skills. Attaboy.
I'm just waiting for the horns to break. That's all I'm watching right now.
That boy's just been starving to get back into the seat of that El Toro Loco truck.
Hey, not just him, but I mean, there's a couple people that this is their first time to come back and return into Monster Jam competition. You also have Bernard Light. Bernard Light was his first time coming back. Now, this clip right here, you can't hear it because there's no audio.
I
But
could play the audio if you want.
yeah,
Yeah, go
please
back and
put
play that audio.
So everybody listen to what happens to Wildcard here as he goes up this jump. So what you heard there was a throttle getting stuck open.
Wide the frick open. And I don't know what happened to the rear end of that truck. I imagine that third or that and at least one inner axle completely shattered upon landing. So they had to go back, rework the rear end of that truck, most likely, and figure out why that throttle stuck. If a spring just stuck on the butterflies of that at that big block blower intake on that engine or not, I don't know. But that was kind of a weird moment to have as a crew guy going, why is my truck stuck? Why did the frick open? Did my driver get knocked out? What happened? But Lindsay Reed, how about Lindsay Reed this weekend, y'all?
Yeah, she took night one. She took the donut win and the freestyle win night one.
I mean, let's be honest. We were all expecting this weekend to be the Ryan Anderson show out there in LA, and these other drivers just came ready to ball.
Hey, I mean, kudos to them because this out of the two arena shows that we were talking about. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Tristan England, but there was no side-by-side racing in Pensacola. It was simply just time trial based. Here in LA, they were actually doing side-by-side Chicago style racing. So, you know, I think surprisingly enough, not seeing Ryan walk away with win after win after win, I think it got to him. You know, a lot of pressure seeing Son of a Digger come back. Everybody's excited and amped up to see that truck come back. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was completely blown away that the leaderboard was kind of all over the place as much as it was.
Yeah, for show 2, we had Armando take the racing win for show 2 against Brandon Vincent, final round.
Brandon Vincent coming back and really want to put that grade. He put it in the final round the first night, and then this is we roll over in racing.
Oh, she's over.
Ryan, he took the skills win show 2 in LA.
Very nice.
Not bad, not bad. But again, you know, I thought he was just gonna sweep it. So
let me just ask y'all this: as we're watching this footage and we're seeing the other people who've obviously won this weekend, do you think maybe Ryan was told to tone it down this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Let's be honest. Like, Son of a Digger, Ryan Anderson, out of a lot of people in that roster, have been behind the wheel of the truck for the longest time. I'm not saying that Ryan was supposed to give wins to certain drivers because Brandon Vincent's been behind the wheel a few times. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, hey, we can't have you tearing up the truck this weekend, or you have to go easy. Give all these other guys that are fresh back in the seat a shot. But regardless, it's nice to see that Son of a Digger is back. Would have been nice to see it back and make a debut in a stadium, not an arena. But still, it still looked like it was a good show. It looked like a lot of people had a lot of fun. And unfortunately, we don't have any footage, but I got to see that the Monster Jam and Spin Master ambassador, Mr. Ryan Albin, or Monster Jam OCD, actually did an interview here at the show since it's his hometown show. So, Ryan, if you're watching, kudos to you. I saw the clip. Must have been a little nervous. I know I would have been. But it just looks like it was a blast. It was a ton of fun. The only thing that I miss about these arena shows is bringing back the actual triple threat element. I always thought that was such a cool challenge to all the other drivers, where it's like, not only do you have to drive a monster truck, you have to drive the quads and you have to drive the speedsters. So hopefully that'll be able to come back here relatively soon.
Now, what's going on right here, Harley?
Now, this is show 3 in LA. We had Bernard Light, right? Win racing against Brandon Vincent in the final round.
No kidding. Hey.
And then we had Armando take another skills win this weekend. Looks like the horns are left.
No horns.
Where are the horns? Where are the horns?
horns?
Someone's going to get written up for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, essentially, since the horns and the smoke are El Toro, and that wasn't going on right there. That's weird. I always used to get bitched at when there weren't horns on that damn truck. About that.
A little salty there, sweetie. So I think we should talk about this. So Son of a Digger's back. It is Son of a Digger's 10-year anniversary.
The big
10 years of Son of a Digger and that old slick Willys panel truck, just absolutely destruction, devastation everywhere. Why is Monster Jam not doing anything about this? Because we're not the only ones talking about why Monster Jam's not doing anything for Son of a Digger. In fact, people in the fan community are actually putting out a, what is it called? Basically, yes, here it is on change.org. Celebrate Son of a Digger 10th anniversary and signing a petition to have some sort of like special body or something made. Feld Entertainment. The fans are speaking out. Yes, I know 200 signatures don't really seem a whole hell of a lot, but there's people that
100 at first, and now it's 200. So maybe they'll just keep raising it up with more people sign.
Need to get to like 10,000 or something.
Maybe.
But regardless, you know, the only truck that ever gets any kind of recognition in any kind of anniversary is always Gravedigger. Or I mean, don't get me wrong, Max D had, you know, the blackout Max D, but that was it. I'm pretty sure Tom had an anniversary not too long ago. But yes, we know it has a lot to do with money, but Feld Entertainment's a multi-billion-dollar company. Not million, billion. I'm sure they'd be able to, you know, put a few dollars here or there just to, you know, do something for Son of a Digger that has such a huge following. But not only Son of a Digger, but you also have El Toro Loco that also has its anniversary this year.
How long? How long? 20 years.
20 years of El Toro Loco. No recognition whatsoever.
Just now coming back. It had its first show here in LA.
Yeah.
And
you know what? Nobody talked about the return of El Toro Loco. Nobody. El Toro Loco has been one of the leading top sellers in Monster Jam merchandise. Not even discussed this year. I mean, this is sad. Let's be honest. You have dropped the ball on Monster Jam on the return of one of your most popular trucks in El Toro Loco, most popular trucks in the history of Monster Jam, let's just say, in El Toro Loco. You got the 10th anniversary of Son of a Digger. We are past halfway through the year now, and you're just now bringing that truck back. You have got fans going online, signing, creating something just to voice their opinion. And hey, maybe we do something for Ryan Anderson now. Maybe we give him a different body. The fans are wanting change, Monster Jam, and you're not listening. You're dropping the ball on what these diehard Monster Truck fans want, and it's killing Monster Jam. Let's be honest.
And here's the thing, like a lot of people are like, oh, it has to do with money. Here's the thing about like a lot of these super fans and Monster Trucks. When it comes to exclusive or a one-time thing, or you know, there's not much of it. For example, like these one of either 1,000, 5,000, like the World Finals diecast trucks, you know, the Halloween trucks or whatever that come up on the Superstore. They get sold out relatively quick. If it's something that the fans want and it's something that they've craved, it'll sell out like hotcakes, and people will buy that because people are that passionate about it. If there was some kind of limited run that only ran for the year 2021, Son of a Digger, you'll never see this again. It would be sold out within a matter of hours. I would guarantee it. But Feld doesn't see it that way. It's like, well, why change it? Why do anything? It's like, well, mate, do a chrome body, like, you know, pull something from Gravedigger's Handbook and put it on Son of a Digger. Do a different color of, for God's sake, something. Just give the people what they want.
Or go down to the bottom comment down here by Jimmy. The suits don't care. What he means by that is the higher ups just not giving a care in the situation. This is just my opinion. I don't know that this is the truth. It's just an idea popping up in my head right now. But I was told a long time ago that Ryan Anderson actually owns the name Son of a Digger. Like that is his name. He owns that. It's copyright. It's his identity. I'm assuming that is still the case. I don't know that 100%. If that's the case, I could see it as, okay, that's why they've obviously had him in Bakugan, because they could put him in that truck, watch him win, make the sponsors happy, makes more money for the company. Doesn't make them more money when they're selling Son of a Digger stuff over Bakugan stuff, because a huge chunk of that is going to go directly to Ryan Anderson. So I like your comment there, Jimmy. What you had to say. I mean, the suits don't care. They want more money in their pockets. That's exactly what a company such as Feld Entertainment is going to do.
So another, I saw below Alvaro, at least do a retro design. So a lot of people may not know this, but Son of a Digger was actually Ryan Anderson's mud truck name. And it was still a Willys, but it was a pickup truck. And it was just flat black with the name Son of a Digger on the side. even that would be something fairly easy to do with Feld. I mean, just take the son of a digger mold, turn it into a pickup, paint it flat black, put the name on the side, make it look all rusty and beat up and muddy. People love the hell out of that. It almost looked like a tribute to the original Gravedigger, the old 51 Ford in primer red and yellow letters. I mean, come on, guys.
They're missing it. Monster Jam is missing it right now. And we're going to kind of take that element of Monster Jam not getting it, and we're going to flip the show to somebody who does know how to handle monster trucks. His last name just happens to be Anderson. He is the OG Dennis Anderson in the Gravedigger truck. Put on a badass show, a show that we, the fans, have been wanting to see for a long time now. And Dennis Anderson gets to get out of his play area and go to somewhere else and put on this badass show at the MidAmerica Outdoors Center in Oklahoma. What a badass show this turned out to be. Harley, can you stop that? Go back to the beginning and let's just listen to Dennis talk on the microphone for once. This show, everything you see, this was Dennis's brain. This was all of his ideas coming to life.
We want to break that record because we got somebody chasing us already.
Such a thrill to watch as a fan, to watch Dennis's, like I said, his blueprint, everything that he had thought of come to life. This is what he wanted to see in the show. So he hopped on the microphone alongside Scott Douglas. Don't get me wrong. A lot of stuff that Dennis was saying was freaking hilarious. It's obvious that he's not a full-time commentator. Everybody who was out there on the track right apart in the show, he made sure he told them that he loved him. And I think he said, I love you about 81 times during the show. But it was great because you were seeing this is a guy who poured his heart and soul into Gravedigger, into monster trucks his entire life. And he made sure he put every last ounce of energy into this show. I talked to the crew chief of Team Overboard, Andrew Blessing, today, and he was just telling me just what a blast that show was to be a part of. Dennis had thought of so many things during the show, thought up of all the ways we could, transition into the tough trucks, transition into those mega trucks and to the long jump, at the end of the show. But Dennis also brought up a very good point. He said at one of the meetings, all these guys that are coming to the show, they're going to be sitting in their UTV. They're going to be sitting there side by side. This show has to go well. The show has to go good because these guys are going to get and hop in their UTV and they're going to leave because there's 100 other things to go do at this badass park. And they don't have to watch the monster truck show if it sucks.
That's true. Now, one of the things that I love that Dennis kind of took is, if you go back and look at the containers, you see it says Thunder Valley. Little bit of kind of a jab at, World Finals and Thunder Alley. But I love that it was still a J-turn course. However, instead of just being a flat, straight line drag strip to a hairpin turn, you actually had a tabletop to kind of go over. The racing element of this course was just amazing. I mean, even though it's still kind of simple, even for the tough trucks, RIP the drone there. But even for the tough trucks, I was still rooting because I've seen these guys. This is in Oklahoma, guys. I've seen some of these tough trucks compete at the four-wheel jamboree shows up here in the Midwest, and they're not playing around. But look at the racing style. Straight out of the gate, into a tabletop, floor all the way into no man's land, go around. Those are boats, mind you, that Dennis decided to use as turntables. Straight to the finish, over another set of tabletops, into the racing into the finish. I mean, the racing element was so cool, even though it looked like the blue lane was having a tough time. But the track was amazing.
You had to be a driver to win that course. So Ryan Disharoon goes out, he balls out, he meets Corey Rumble in the final, another great racer. Ryan Disharoon in the Saigon Shaker, not just Shaker, but the Saigon Shaker, wins racing. Like I said, you got to be a driver to win a course like that. And I know Dennis was over there on the side just wishing he could be in the middle of all that. That guy came up with that track, and racing did not disappoint, Austin.
So here's the thing, and I really don't want to dog on Monster Truck Throwdown, but to me, this show was what Monster Truck Throwdown was promoting, the whole Monster Truck Madness. That's what Monster Truck Madness used to be at the Mount Pleasant show. And Dennis was able to bring that kind of caliber event with that type of a lineup and that, that just so much momentum going into that event and carrying it, and just it was so successful. Now, here's the thing that I love about it. They live streamed it. Whether you're in New York or California, Oregon, Michigan, Texas, you could watch the full show. Why is nobody else doing this?
Okay. Not just that, okay, because we've said before, okay, Monster Jam could easily do some type of live stream for some part of the show or whatever. But before the show, even really got started, and we saw intros there just a few minutes ago. They did the old school intro thing where they start the show, the drivers come out, they circle the track, they rev their engines up, and then they stop. They get out, they stand on the front of their tire. And Dennis had something to say about each and every one of those drivers that are out there. He would talk about their friendship. Yeah, like that's cool and all, but he really went into like who they really are versus, hey, this is so-and-so from the whole town of Oklahoma, or this is so-and-so from Texas. Like he really said something personable about that driver and actually got the crowd pumped up that guy was at that show. I mean,
so
go ahead.
You're absolutely right, because like when you go into a show, like you hear about like so-and-so driver from hometown. This show, I couldn't really pick like who's going to win, because everybody in that lineup, like the way Dennis talked about him, like the way he talked about Kohler, his Chris Kohler, Jim's son, or talking about Dishroon and his dad, or Corey Rummel, how he would come out to Modi Motorsports Park and play in the mud with his kids in the mud bogs and the mega trucks. It's like you can't choose a favorite driver because everybody there is just an A-list driver. Everybody was on top of their game. Not to mention, I can't believe we haven't talked about this, but you know who was driving overboard?
Mark McDonald.
Mark McDonald, Oklahoma hometown boy. Yeah. And like even Dennis like hasn't seen him drive a truck in so long, was even talking up about him and like their time in Monster Jam. It's like, I love that Dennis does that, even though he has no business like announcing. Let's be completely honest, he just goes way off the rails. But just having that extra little element to like get personal with the competitors, it means a lot to the community. It means a lot to the competitors. It means a lot to the fans. That's like, this isn't just a person with a name driving a giant truck to destroy stuff. Like, it actually is personal. Like, you get to know a little bit about these guys. And I think more tours should start doing that.
You're exactly right. So we get through intros, the trucks, they fire up, they get off the track. The crowd got started by up, countdown from 10 all the way to 1. The trucks fire up. That old school element of the show will never get old. Monster Jam, are you listening? Right after that happens, trucks are exiting the track. King Sling does not fire up right away. There's an issue with King Sling. And you hear Dennis get back on the microphone. I have been so nervous about this all week. I don't know what's going on with the truck, but it's got to be 110%. Right now, it's not firing. I'm a nervous wreck. You see him become vulnerable with the crowd. The legend, Dennis Anderson. That happens. You have the Vegas style racing. We talked about how Ryan Dishroon won racing. We forgot to mention that Corey Rummel was the fastest qualifier in the MidAmerica Outdoor truck, which is essentially John Gordon's second truck in his camp. And Ryan Dishroon goes out, wins racing. Now, Dennis had a quote of the night when it came to freestyle. Now, mind you, we had tough trucks, we had some mega truck action.
He had a lot of quotes of the night, but this one stood out to both
but
of us.
You could get a whole book out of that night. Are you kidding me?
Do you want to play the video for talking about freestyle stuff?
Oh, yeah.
We get into freestyle. By the way, Tim Jones lays down an absolute wicked freestyle. I mean,
he was on fire during that freestyle. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Literally.
No pun intended.
Look at this. I mean, successful backflip keeps the truck running. I love that old school forward body, obviously, concussion chassis. I mean, this guy literally, and when I say literally, I mean, he burned it down. And
I'm slowly becoming a Timothy Jones fan, to be completely honest.
So
right here.
After he gets, I can't remember, maybe it's after he got done, or maybe it was Jay Gore. I can't remember now, but somebody goes out, they wad their truck up. Maybe it's Tim Jones right here, which, by the way, Tim Jones is just fine. Physically, he's okay. This was very scary. I was on the phone with one of my buddies who called just at this time, and I was freaking. I was like, hold on. Holy crap, dude, get out of your truck. Get out. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. Tim Jones is just fine. He laid down a killer freestyle. But quote of the night from Dennis Anderson is, just destroying your truck is the best. And that's Dennis Anderson.
That's not the quote.
Oh, I'm sorry. He said disrespecting your truck is the best.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Because I remember seeing this, and Dishroon actually lost a shock. Like, it looks like he had no shock absorber whatsoever on that right rear of his truck. It just completely rutted the truck like the way he was.
That's what it was. It was after Ryan got done with his freestyle. That's it. I mean,
and then Chris Kohler with.
Oh
a
my
race
gosh,
over
Chris
night.
Kohler. Yeah, this save right here. Holy crap.
The drone footage from that save was absolutely wicked. I mean, Harley was like jumping up. She was like freaking out when Chris was doing that. Good job, Chris. You really stepped your game up and rolled with those big dogs, which was literally the cream of the crop in all of monster trucks. And you put on one hell of a freestyle, sir.
So I got to be honest, I'm a little shocked that our boy Zach Gardner didn't walk away with hardware this weekend.
I am too. I'm surprised he did that flip. I'm surprised that. Okay, so we talked about how we brought back qualifying into the mix, which took place of what the skills challenge was. They didn't have a skills challenge, which is great. A lot of us don't care for the skill challenge. Okay, let's be honest. But that's where Zach Garner's time to shine really comes through in an overall event championship, such as the Monster Jam series, and he didn't get that. So I was kind of surprised he didn't come out of the gate in his freestyle.
Well, also how the pace of the show was going during freestyle, like it was just like truck after truck after truck breaking and had to be, and the loader had to take it off the track. And so I think it was nice to finally see a truck fill its time and drive off the track with no issues. And then Colvinard did the exact same thing. So it was nice to see both of them just drive off the track for once.
And, Zach put on a good performance. He really did. Like I said, I was just surprised he didn't go for a stoppie right off the back. I'm surprised he didn't hit a backflip. But that team, they had some struggles throughout the night. Colvinard lost a steer pump earlier on in the night, which is why he didn't make it back into the racing bracket. Came back out for freestyle later. A good performance. Have y'all seen what Cole's been doing with his bedsides lately? Austin, he's been bringing them in like the bro dozer ass in of the truck, which I think is very interesting. I want to say I understand why he does that. It's kind of like one of those theories like, hey, you get less damage that way to the truck.
I can see it. Don't get me wrong. I can see it because it's closer to the chassis. Like
I don't like the look of it.
It looked like, honestly, from a distance, I'm like, why is Brodozer there? Like, I could understand it though, because when you go for a rollover, when those bedsides and pieces of fiberglass stick out as much as they do, like they'll grab and pop and break. So I can see why they may have did it that way, but it still looks silly. It still just doesn't. I don't really care for it.
Didn't I say that last night? It makes it look like a pirate ship.
And I'm kind of waiting for him to do the same thing with the front of the truck, which, okay, at that point, I think a lot of people would really like that. So hurry up and get to it. But anyways.
So speaking of which, this is something I kind of heard since we're on the topic of Black Pearl. I've heard a rumor that there's talk going around that Black Pearl may have a 3D body sometime in the near future.
That would be awesome.
Hey, maybe he's leading up to that. Maybe we're in a transitional phase, huh?
Okay, so if that happens, how many likes do we need to get to have Mr. Austin Tweedy dress up as Captain Jack Sparrow?
Whatever. We're not doing that anytime soon. Okay. No more signing me up for stupid crap. All right. I've got to live with the purple.
But it went so well. Wait, hold on. What?
It's your turn next. He dyed his hair. Now it's your turn.
All right. I'll make you this deal. If we get an Anderson on this show, it doesn't matter which one. If we get an Anderson, and it has to be of, Dennis Anderson on through, I will have handlebar mustache. I will rock the handlebar.
We're going to make that happen.
All right. I like that. Anyways, we were talking about freestyle. We saw Deidre Ballard and Miss Overboard go out, have some mechanical issues with the truck. Turns out the fuel pump was having some issues just being engaged with the damn block on the truck. There was that. They had some issues with the kill radio as well. They're not running those Monster Jam radios. I can't remember exactly what setup they have in those trucks, but stuff like that happens, even with Monster Jam stuff, especially with Monster Jam's radios. I know personally they give you some junk radios and they go to get fixed. They don't get fixed properly. So that's frustrating to have because Deidre is a great freestyler. She's good in the skills competition as well. So she didn't really get that time to shine. She did great with whatever time she had to fill. I was just, hoping that truck wasn't going to break so we could really see what she could do with the big boys.
Speaking of electronics and radios and everything, anybody at the Feld shop that's listening or watching, can you guys make sure that Ferrari's food bowl and water bowl is full when you get back to the shop? I'm sure he might be a little overworked.
Why do you say that?
Oh, so working at the shop, Ferrari was like the main electrical guy And it just always seemed like whenever I go talk to him, he was way overworked. Like he'd have a stack of what we called Pelican boxes like on his desk. I'm like, I'm just going to come back later. So I hope he's doing okay. If he's back, I don't know 100% if he's back, but whoever is in charge of all the good old electronics.
So John Gordon, Bad Company, goes out, lays down a pretty damn good freestyle. At the very end of his freestyle, makes a hit, breaks his wheel off. They had a hard time getting the loaders ready to get there and get that truck, get the wheel, completely disassembled and getting him off the track. But Austin, they were also bringing on different obstacles onto the track throughout the freestyle competition, which I know you said you really appreciated that.
So that is the one thing I miss most about Monster Truck competition. And that's why I love going to like the throwdown events. They have the buses, they have van stacks. They had campers again. Like I haven't seen a camper in a Monster Truck event in so long. And they didn't just have one. It looked like they had 3 out in the back. And they also had an extra boat to bring out as well. And I loved listening to Dennis Anderson talk about when he was going to bring something out for Mr. Jim Kohler, which unfortunately his run was kind of cut short. But talking about how Jim runs an arena up here in Michigan, and he's like, "Yeah, I got another boat in the back that we're going to have out here for him." It's like, okay, first of all, I know there's not many lakes in Oklahoma, but someone's pretty pissed at Dennis for taking all the boats out of Oklahoma.
We had that going on, and then we had Corey Rummel come out, and he ended up winning the freestyle competition. I know he put a lot of hits in his run, which went into the overall score of freestyle. I think that has a lot the reason to do with why he won last night. But let's rate this show now. Let's talk about from start to finish. Let's just go out of 5, 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, that you could rate this show. I'm honestly, my personal opinion, I'm going to say it's a 4.5. And the 0.5 that I'm missing from the show is just elements that they know they need to work on, right? They had plenty of great camera footage. The drones were awesome. There may have been a little bit too much drone footage for my liking.
I like the drone footage. I like being right there with the truck as it was.
Yeah, honestly, I'd like to see more shows implement that. I would love to see Monster Jam actually like have a drone flying around chasing the trucks during racing skills and freestyle. I think that's really cool. There's someone out, I don't know his username or anything on Instagram, but there's this guy that has some killer drone shots from like a truck doing a complete stoppie or like a moonwalk, and he's just rotating around the entire truck. Like that's insane. It's super cool, and it adds a little bit more to like, spectators watching. Could you imagine seeing that on the Jumbotron in a Monster Jam event? That'd be insane.
I've been waiting on something like that as well. And I'm not saying that I didn't like the drone footage. I'm just saying I think maybe at some parts like the drone footage wasn't necessary. That's all I'm saying. I love watching those drones get hit with mud, and one just completely racked into a tree at one point and almost fell on some crew guys. So I love that aspect of it. They didn't exactly have the cream of the crop to work with as far as the actual equipment to move the trucks off of the track when there was an issue. But like I said, this is all stuff, the 0.5 that I'm not including in it being a 5 out of 5. Is stuff that they already know that they have to work on. Okay. I'd say my other complaint about the show is obviously y'all know I love Corey Rummel, great driver. I think he's right up there in top 5 as far as all the greatest drivers out in the country right now. I still think Tim Jones should have taken that freestyle victory last night. And I know a lot of fans have been complaining online saying that, he should have won it and not Corey Rummel. And they're saying, okay, it's because Corey was driving the MidAmerica Outdoors truck. And it's like, okay, fans, you have a great valid point. Yes, it is a theory, but if it's right, they totally just monster jammed that freestyle competition and just gave their freestyle victory to their sponsored truck. So for that reason alone, like I said, that's why I've gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Harley, what would you have given the event last night?
I'd say a good 4.75. Okay. The only part I didn't like was the big gap of time between each truck during freestyle, just because it did take a long time to get those trucks off the track after they would break. I mean, that's really my only complaint. I loved all the drone footage. I loved the tough trucks. I loved every bit of that show.
Spence.
So I would have to, honestly, this is almost a damn near perfect show. Honestly, there's the commentary was amazing. The only thing that really sucks is there wasn't really much posting about like nothing to like bring people in to come to the show. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like part of this giant festival, which kind of sucks because I feel like there should have been a huge audience there. But if you watch the live feed, it looked like there was well over 400 or 500 people that were tuning into the live stream, which is awesome. I would have to be right there with Harley. It's like a 4.7, and like it's damn near perfect. It's so close to being perfect, but there's just some small elements that are just missing from it. I love that they brought more destruction aspects back. There was more, carnage. You had the campers, the buses, or not the buses. I'm sorry, the
Boats.
the boats. Thank you. But there's also some new obstacles that were out there. I don't know if you're paying attention, but there was like an SUV stack that was in the shape of a T, which when you hit the front of the SUVs, it was almost good for like popping wheelies and whatnot. But you also have crush cars. There's something you could actually crush with the cars. And not to mention, you had the really weird bus stack, which they actually used a bunch of crushed cars as like a form of ramp, which I thought was really interesting. But I would have to be right there with you. There was a lot of drone footage. There was a lot of like connection issues that you could definitely see. But overall, I mean, it was an amazing event. Honestly, I think they should up it to 16 trucks next time.
So this is kind of what I was thinking. I thought, okay, like you said, didn't hear a lot of promoting on the show. That really bothered me. That because I knew about the show maybe a month ago. Okay. But I just heard about it a month ago, and I'm going, if they're not promoting the show, I don't know that I want to buy tickets and drive 5 hours to go see that. So, we will drive 5 hours to go see
We are
a
going
good monster
next year.
truck show. And
I will fly down.
My issue with that was we didn't hear anything about it. We're only 5 hours away from it, and there was no promoting in this area. But what I was told is that they did a lot of promoting locally. There's a lot of good old boys and girls out there in the woods in Oklahoma with nothing to do except ride their racers and build their custom off-road trucks. And that's the crowd that they were targeting. I think they got it because there were plenty of people there last night. I was also told that there was a lot of people in UTVs and side-by-sides off in the distance, like off on the hillside. They were covered underneath trees. You couldn't see like on the drone footage. There were a lot of people there last night. I think this, one or two things could potentially be going on here. This is the first year for the show. They want to do a good feeler and test this out. If it goes well, they could make the show even bigger and better and badder next year. What could also potentially be happening, Dennis Anderson's got all kinds of connections out there. Maybe he's looking to do some type of race series with this, and he wants to do, if he made plenty of money off that show, they did really well. Maybe he can do the exact same thing in Texas. He can do the exact same thing up in Kansas and Missouri, Ohio, and start getting a chain of races going on. At that point, you've got a top tier monster truck racing league. Okay. So I think they could potentially be doing that. They could also be just, dipping their toes in the water, and the better it gets, they could potentially be putting on a world finals competition there.
That was definitely like, that would almost qualify for me as like almost a world finals tier type of event, because it was big. It was, kind of unexpected. It was the way everything was set up. It was really unique. Now, I love that you're talking about like this expanding, because this was at an off-road park. There's off-road parks kind of scattered across the country, and there's actually one not too far away from where I live. I don't think it'd be big enough to have a monster truck show, but hell, it'd be worth a try. It's called Bundy Hill Off-Road. Now, one of the biggest ones up here by where I'm at is actually in Indiana. It's called Badlands, and actually Jeremy Beck actually used to run a truck forever ago called Badlands, like, Park Security or something like that. And he has connections with that, and that's actually how Quad Chaos kind of started a little bit. So there's a lot of these big off-road parks across the country. We should definitely start looking into having more monster truck competitions incorporated with them.
Hey, go down to Jimmy's comment again. This guy has been on it tonight. Jimmy, I'm sorry if you've commented before and I've not paid attention to it, but I love what you're saying tonight, and he's exactly right. We're dipping our toes in the water in a show like this, see how it's going to plan out. Maybe there are some potential sponsors out there wanting to be involved with this show next year if it goes over well this year. I think it obviously did. There's no doubt about that. That show was a freaking rocket show.
I feel like we're forgetting one huge element of the show.
What's that?
And that's the world record jump by Weston Anderson.
This show,
I forgot about that.
This show is so very well planned out by Dennis Anderson. And I think the last element of this show really proved that. And this is why. Because you don't know how freestyle competition is going to go. You don't know if it's just going to be badass and the fans are going to go away happy, or if the last truck goes out and disappoints. So he had this planned out to save the world record mega truck jump at the end. It did not disappoint.
Can we talk about the pyrotechnics for a second? When was the last time you went to a monster truck show with pyrotechnics? Look at this. Just wall of fire Teeny Man just is brought through. Like, that is just so freaking cool.
At the beginning of the show tonight, at the beginning of this video, Dennis was talking about how there's already somebody gunning for their long jump record. And honestly, I could see Teeny Man just being the guy to continue crushing it if somebody comes back and does break it. Teeny is clearly proven that he can drive these mega trucks. And you listen to him talk at the end of the show, Weston's a very down-to-earth person. You know, I've talked to him in person, met him, and he's a great guy. All the Andersons are. They're all great people. So it's so awesome. It's so, I mean, Weston, you definitely deserve to have that record, you know, in your name. You know, we're proud of you. Super excited to see if somebody else goes out and breaks it. We want to watch you break it. We're going to be pulling for King Sleen, you know, for years to come, essentially.
So what do we know what the record was? Like, what was it that he said it to be? That's an awesome picture.
It was 225, I believe. I think it was 225.
And he said it to, right?
Yeah, he set it to 225 and it was 200.
Yeah. So they set it at, I believe, 205. That's the distance they wanted him to hit. And then obviously he crushed it and hit right about 225, I think is what they said. So now that we have that over, now that they have that, were you going to say something, Austin?
So 225 is now the world record long jump in a mega truck. So yeah. I had to do a quick Google search because I didn't know at the top of my hand. The world record long jump in a monster truck is just 237.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a little bit of back and forth between the mega and the monster, like who can go further?
I think there will be. I think Joey Sylvester's already planning on trying to break his own damn record, if we're being honest. He knows what it feels like to go that big in a truck. I can't believe guys haven't come out and done this, like try to break Joey's record. I'm honestly shocked that Bigfoot hasn't tried to get one of their guys to go after it. So now we're seeing the mega trucks are capable of jumping just as far. This could be an interesting competition to see both leagues going up against each other.
Mm-hmm. I can see that, but I gotta agree with Jimmy here. So he brings up a very valid point. Is, you know, all the other Anderson kids are involved in Monster Jam one way, shape, or form. Do you think it'd be a good idea to have Teeny go into Monster Jam? Because to be honest, I think he is doing so much better promoting the mega truck side of things. I would love to see him get behind the wheel of a monster truck, not a company truck though.
Well, I think it's a good idea for Monster Jam. Yeah, they would be doing themselves a great deal by getting Weston signed on. I don't know if that's what the Andersons want, and obviously what Weston wants to do or not, if he wants to have that contract under his name. And
I feel like if Weston wanted to do Monster Jam, he would already be involved in Monster Jam. Because Kristen was involved, you know, really young as well. So I feel like Weston probably just wants to stay with the mega trucks and focus on that.
I think this conversation is going to lead into what we've been wanting to talk about. We can spend the rest of the night talking about this topic. By the way, Ben Islander, I see your comment tonight, buddy. Thank you for reaching out and watching our shows and supporting us. We really appreciate you, my man. But we're talking about Weston Anderson. We're talking about him potentially getting into Monster Jam. We've talked about how Ryan Anderson, in arguably one of the most popular trucks out on the circuit, not getting the recognition that he so rightfully deserves, being a multi-time Monster Jam world champion. Adam Anderson, multi-time world champion. Kristen, proving her name that she belongs with the big dogs. And you see Dennis put on this show last night, Monster Jam. Are you listening? The fans want this caliber of a show. They want this type of monster truck show. We're getting the way to where Monster Jam has been doing the same old for the last 3 or 4 years. It's time to change some stuff up, whether you're removing the skills competition, whether you're changing arena shows altogether, because y'all know on the show, I hate Monster Jam arena shows, and I love monster truck arena shows. Monster Jam arena shows put me to sleep. I don't care for them. I think it's time they definitely change that aspect of the show. So you see what Dennis Anderson did last night. You see that it was obviously a success, that is going to happen again. You see they're not giving Ryan Anderson the love that he deserves. You think maybe Ryan's just doing his part, waiting out his contract so that when it expires, he's going to jump ship and bring Son of a Digger to the independent world?
Honestly, that would be cool. I would love to see that, but there's also, like, I could just see there being a lot of legality issues, but in a perfect world, yes, I'd love to see that, seeing a Digger back in the independent scene, going to fairground shows, going to the small speedways, going to the horse tracks and all that. So I would love to see that. Would it happen? Unfortunately, I don't think so, but I want it to.
I think it would. No, I think it honestly would, especially if Ryan owns that name. I think it would. And if he doesn't, he's going to jump ship and make a new identity.
Look at Dennis. He made his own new identity with King Sling. I mean, Ryan and Adam and Kristen can all do that if they want to go away from Feld.
They can. I think they will. If Monster Jam continues to go down this pact of destructiveness and not what I'm saying, I don't mean destroying the trucks at a good Monster Jam show. I'm talking about how not listening to your fans, the ones who pay your bills and support your shows. If you're not doing that, you're going to be losing people. And I think it started with last night at the MidAmerica Outdoors show. That show went too perfect. It went great. And Monster Jam, oh, wow, Son of a Digger came back. Round of applause. And wasn't even at full tilt. He wasn't in a stadium. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. You said this earlier, Austin. I think he was told to not run as hard anyways. This could potentially change the future of the Andersons and Monster Jam.
So let me ask you guys something. Should Dennis try doing his own arena show?
Arena?
Do you think Dennis would be able to have some kind of like high caliber arena show? If he was able to talk to somebody, I'm saying like a standard hockey arena that we see with, the Triple Threat series. Do you think Dennis Anderson will be able to put on a way better high caliber show compared to the Monster Jam series?
Well, first of all, a 12-year-old kid with some RC trucks could put on a better arena show than what Monster Jam can. But your question is, can Dennis put on a better show?
Let's go.
I answer that.
Let's just bring out the RC. Might as well grab
Let's
it.
go. Let's go.
And
meet you at the Kellogg Arena.
And my answer to that is like obviously clearly, yeah, but I don't think Dennis belongs in an arena. I'm not saying that he couldn't do that, but with what we saw last night, I mean, we need more of that. We need bigger tracks where trucks can really stretch their legs, drive the way they want to, let it all hang out. So I don't think you take the brand of the Anderson name and you squish them in an arena. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think they definitely belong on a bigger track. Harley, what do you think?
I don't know about arenas. I could see him running a really successful, like big
track?
fairgrounds or speedways, like big open, fields to run a show at.
That's absolutely fair because one of Dennis was kind of famous back in the old Monster Wars. If anyone knew that from like the 1990s, the old straight line 3 jump, like, West Lebanon Raceway, Hagerstown, some of the, Canfield, Ohio, and all those other straight line tracks. So I could definitely see if Dennis want to go back to his roots and go back to those type of tracks, you know what? I'd have to agree. So excuse me for even assuming Dennis should even attempt to do an arena, but but the reason why I brought that up is because, I talk about Toughest Monster Truck Tour. They're the only monster truck tour that puts on a hell of an arena show. That I actually have fun going to, while compared to, sorry, Monster Jam, but it's just not fun. Or some of these other really low crackerjack shows where it's just, I'm sorry to kind of badmouth Hot Wheels, but it's literally just crush car stack, van stack. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing outside of the element.
And I don't care about that because I would still rather go see a Hot Wheels show than a Monster Jam arena show. I'm sorry. There's nothing there. The Stoppies, it's great. Okay, whatever, for one truck. Then everybody else is going to try to do the same thing. At least with crush cars, monster trucks are doing what they were designed to do, which is crush cars. And you're always going to see guys try to get that skill level of riding a wheelie over the car. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So I would rather go see a Hot Wheels show than a Monster Jam arena show. But I think the theme of our conversation right now, Austin, is the fact that if Monster Jam isn't listening to their fans, they're going to be hurting very soon.
Or someone else is going to do it better, just like Dennis did.
Well, this guy said that independent promoters are already doing it better than Monster Jam. The independents have stepped it up this year, big time, and last year. They were the ones floating monster trucks while Monster Jam couldn't be in the picture. And Monster Jam couldn't be in the picture, not just because they didn't want to, but they're a bigger brand. They are under a much bigger microscope than all the other independents, according to U.S. government regulations and all that stuff. Okay, so they couldn't do anything about that. But my point is, independents are where it's at right now. Independent monster trucks.
That's very true. Also, we forgot to bring this up, but there was no fan judging at the Dennis Anderson show, was there?
No,
No?
I don't know exactly how that judging worked. Do y'all?
I remember hearing there was 3 professional judges. I don't know who the 3 professional judges were, but
It was
They
just
based it
Dennis's
off of-
grandkids with
Yeah,
scorecards.
probably. They based it off of how many hits, and then there was also a bonus time, like the old days. So
We say old. God, is it really the old days?
it
'Cause
really
that was
is
like
old days. When's the last time we had bonus time?
13, maybe. Right?
Okay.
2013.
No,
Like 8 years ago.
No, it wasn't 13. I remember in 18 being at a driver's meeting, and they were like, "Are we doing bonus time?" And it was
No.
like, "Yes,
It
yes."
had to have been farther back.
But
than
no, they
that.
weren't doing bonus time. But my point is, they were still learning the ropes, so it wasn't 13. But my point is,
My point is, it's been a long time since Monster Jam has had bonus time.
independent monster trucks is where it's at right now. Monster Jam, you are losing your fan base.
I love this comment. Steel Titans 2 gameplay is getting better than real life Marina Monster Jam events. And Steel Titans isn't even that good. There's a reason why I stopped playing it.
Look, 2016 was the last year Monster Jam did bonus time.
Thank you, Jay Hurt. I did not know that.
That's
but-
almost 6 years ago.
And you
That's a
said
lot.
old days. Like,
That to me, that's old days.
well, to me, I feel old, so I hate that. I'm like on the back door of 30. I don't like hearing that. Yeah. Wow, we've really rattled the hornet's nest. Everyone's upset with Monster
Yeah.
Jam now.
Everyone hates Monster Jam Arena shows in the comments.
And
today.
we will be forever banned from Monster Jam
I know.
anything from now on.
We're not allowed to
But
go
you
to
know
Monster
something?
Jam
I don't
anymore.
care because I don't see Monster Jam being, in the near future. Okay, because of the way the independent world is right now. Monster Jam's refusal of listening. We all know Failed Entertainment is known to bury companies such as the biggest, baddest circus in all the world. Buried that.
Brothers.
They didn't sell it to anybody. They just went, we're done with it.
They're like,
Mhm.
nobody can have it, so we'll just keep it forever.
Yeah, that's literally what they'll do. Like, they would rather run it into the ground and never use it, but still hold all the rights and licensings for any kind of profit, rather than giving it to somebody that'll actually do something with it.
We were talking about, potentially all the Andersons going independent. I think somebody else that we're forgetting that is going to change how independent monster trucks roll is here in just a year or two. Whenever, let's say, whenever Tom Mentz's contract ends up and he's good buddies with Michael Harper, could they potentially be putting something together? You already see the Eichelbergers driving together, Tom's boys. So who's to say Tom's not going to go independent in the future? Then you're going to have the Andersons versus the Mintz boys again. And then that rivalry is going to be so hot in the independent world. Nobody's going to want to tune into Monster Jam.
Honestly, yeah, because that's the one thing that Monster
Mic
Jam
drop.
has been lacking. There's
Mic
no rivalry. There's no every form of motorsport or any kind of sport, really. There's always a great rivalry. There's always that big, matchup that you can't wait to see. The Gravedigger Max D rivalry just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, it's not really a rivalry anymore.
Hey,
Yeah,
I like
it's-
this comment from this Jimmy guy once again. I know y'all are surprised that I'm not going to comment from this guy tonight, but gosh damn it, put it on here, Harley. And Bigfoot is the biggest free agent right now. So if we're being honest, a lot of people don't really know what's going on with Bigfoot right now. I'm included in that. But Bigfoot will forever be known as the king of monster trucks. Okay, everybody is going to always love Bigfoot. I know the Andersons love Bigfoot. There's no question about that. I don't know if they're just kind of, working out their sponsorships and they're going to be bought out by Hot Wheels. I don't know if they've already got another potential buyer on the market, or I don't know if they're just waiting on something else to pull through and then they're going to have another big thing happen at the company. I don't know, but Bigfoot, like this guy saying, a potential free agent to be, the gravedigger of the independent world once again. We've seen it in the Hot Wheels tour. They've been that truck. They could potentially be, working on a bunch of things right now. Everybody loves Bigfoot. Everybody's always going to love Bigfoot. Bigfoot will forever be king of the monster trucks. Peace out.
Speaking of Bigfoot, kind of going on until we end our run, we have finally opened our second giveaway because you guys are so freaking awesome supporting us here on the Throttle Out Show. We decided to do yet another giveaway. Tweety, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
We've got a nice little care package coming from the boys up there in St. Louis, Missouri. And you see everything in this picture is autographed by none other than Hot Rod Rodney Tweedy. What you see right here is a green light collectible. You see a Hot Wheels Bigfoot and Snakebite collectible. And then the other one on the right, I'm sorry, I can't read it right now. I've actually had this thing in my hands and I've looked at it, what the brand of this. But this truck is over 10 years old. It was a monster truck toy that Bigfoot put out. Like I said, 10 years, a little older than that. You've got some hero cards signed by Rodney Tweedy. That is the black with blue flames. That was his identity whenever that truck came out. And a crew shirt from just a few years ago signed by Rodney Tweedy. This crew shirt is actually worn, wrenched on. It's got some grease and oil stains on it. And then also we've got a $100 Visa gift card. Fellas, all you married fellas especially are wanting $100 to buy RC parts with right now, or another $100 to go in into shining up your toy truck that you got. They're just something that everybody can use $100 right now. So make sure you do not miss out on this giveaway opportunity. And it is legit. Our last giveaway winner got all of his stuff in the mail.
Did you also include a Throttle Out t-shirt with your choice of design?
Yes, and we've got a few different designs from the Throttle Out that Austin Spence himself designed, and you get to pick out which one you want, and we'll get that shipped out to you. What are we doing?
Nothing. I was trying to point to him. It didn't work out.
Oh, okay. And I forgot what I was going to say, but everybody use $100 right now. Make sure you do not miss out on this giveaway. This is legit. It is tangible. It is real. Austin Spence, why don't you kind of tell us the night of the giveaway, which will be a week from today, next Sunday night, right? That is right, right?
Correct.
Tell us how this giveaway is going to work, Austin. How are fans going to see them win?
So it's actually going to be kind of almost like a live drawing, except we're not going to exactly be doing this from a hat like we did with the last drawing, because we had I think we had 30 something people actually.
Yeah, I think 30 max of people.
Yeah, about 30 max, which, hey, it is what it is. We got to where we are at. We're now 150 subscribers more on YouTube. We now have 800 followers or over 800 followers on Instagram. And I don't even know what we're at on Facebook. So we actually had a lot of people talk to us a little bit about, our last giveaway, saying, hey, I don't really have Instagram. How can I still be a part of this giveaway? So this is how we're going to do it. You have two different options to actually being a part of this giveaway. One is going to the Throttle Out page on our Instagram, put in our hashtag, which is RWIDTO, and you have to tag a friend. That secures your spot in the giveaway. You have to do the same exact thing on our Facebook post. Regardless, it enters you a spot. So what we're going to do, after however many people from Instagram, however many people from Facebook, we're going to choose a random. We haven't decided yet, but we could choose a random between 3 people from Facebook, 5 people from Facebook, and the same amount of number from Instagram. And we're going to put you guys on a random selector wheel, and we're going to do it live, showing you who wins our giveaway.
This is real. This is tangible. Like he said, you actually get to see the wheel spin. You're going to see the finalists on there, and it's all going to happen a week from today. You've got plenty of time to sign up.
And tell your friends.
Who wouldn't want to get their hands on this? As of right now, there is no the way to get extra points in this. You just comment once, done. If you sign up on both Instagram and Facebook, it doesn't matter. That doesn't count. And we're looking at ways in the future. Maybe you can sign up and get some extra ways. But right now, there is no buy-in required. You don't have to send us any money. I don't want your email address. I'm not going to make you subscribe to our mailing list or anything like that. This is a 100% free giveaway. It's just for good fun. And for just, thank y'all for supporting the Throttle Out Show. We've grown leaps and bounds just within the last month. And then we've only been doing this since February. Whatever suggestions y'all got for us for ways to better our show and better getting content out to y'all, let us know. You can always shoot us a DM or comment on any one of our posts. But pretty soon, and I mean pretty soon, we're going to have merch available. Yo, that flag is going to be a problem. Hey, man, it pained me to hang the damn thing, Cooper. Come on, I bleed Bigfoot blue, okay? We just
Jimmy here, dude, you've been on fire, but I love that he's like, what about a pallet of Dr. Pepper? I think that goes straight to Tweety. I don't think he's going to share.
This guy does watch our shows, man. Knows
dude,
us.
But that's the kind of support that we freaking love with you guys. I mean, you make our entire week, so you guys make the work week so much better. I mean, just this amount of support that you guys give us. And also, Miss Linda Johnson, I'm actually waiting on a shipment of stickers because I completely ran out. So as soon as I get more stickers, I'll be sure to ship them out to you. So sorry about that.
And Harley John Cadeau saying, "Put me down." How do people actually sign? Go one last time. Go ahead and tell people how you sign up for the giveaway.
Yeah, so you just go to our giveaway post on our Facebook or Instagram. All you do is comment hashtag remember when in doubt, throttle out, or just RWITO. No, I forgot the D. Okay, whatever. Whatever.
We're messing up. Crap.
Either one will work. It will.
Okay, hashtag remember when in doubt, throttle out. And then you tag a friend as well. That's all you got to do. Just comment one time. You're automatically entered. And then we'll randomly pick a winner a week from today.
While you're at it, go ahead and hop on over to YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe there. We got some big things coming down the pipe, and it's going to be going on our YouTube channel, so you don't want to miss out. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't already. That's all I got for tonight, Austin. You got anything else for us? Harley, you got anything else?
No.
Anybody in the comment section?
Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? Now's the time.
I'm
Speak
sure
now or
people
forever hold your peace.
Why we have a Gravedigger flag in our background now. After we talk so much hate on Gravedigger.
This is not a permanent thing, okay? This is us showing support for the Anderson name tonight.
I guess I could say this, but I accidentally took. Well, I shouldn't say accidentally. I kind of took one of Josh Yoho's Lucas Oil flags. It's still like covered in dirt and oil and stuff. It's just hanging on my closet. Maybe I'll have that in the background next time. I guess we should see. I guess we should take some recommendations from the fans. Like, who should we have on the show for Throttle Out? Like, who would you guys like to see us talk to and shoot the shit with? That's what I want to know.
Somebody comment down tonight, Dennis Anderson, Josh. I don't know if Josh Wells. I don't know if you're talking about what Austin's talking about now, but he's saying Buckshot. I love Brandon Budd. We need to have him on the show sometime, definitely.
I don't like onions that much, though.
And then he can explain the onion thing because nobody's ever fully explained that to me. So I'll wait for him to give us the explanation. But yeah, comment who you want to see on our show and some other things that we need to talk about, some other things we need to cover, such as, Monster Jam changing their arena shows or potentially changing the way they do shows altogether. There's a lot of guys in Monster Jam right now. Some of their top dogs, their contracts are going to be expiring before too much longer. Who could potentially be filling the roles? Where could they potentially be going? All that to discuss in the near future.
Or if you want us to talk about something not monster truck related.
Hey, like
maybe like the tough trucks or the mega trucks or the side by side. I don't know.
We should get Mr. Tanner. We should get Tanner on. Mr. Tannerite. Talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, we should.
I haven't heard much about him. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot to go over. All right, I'm seeing Denver Acting Camp. I don't know. Because he tends to end up in Facebook jail a lot, and what he does anytime he's in trouble with Mr. Zuckerberg, my phone goes off during the entire show with little comments and eggplant emojis for Mr. Acton Camp. I don't know if I want him on the show just yet.
Well, I don't know how since we're live, we're not recorded. I don't know how to beat somebody out. We'll have to do that.
I'll just have to take him off the screen and then put him back on the screen.
You've been put in timeout by Harley Joe. But no, in all honesty, I'd love to talk to Denver because Denver is one of those guys that has no filter. But yeah, that would probably be the one episode that would probably not be PG-13. But we'll see. Who knows?
Well, that's all I got for y'all tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't, go and sign up for our giveaway. It's free, no buy-in required. Remember, when in doubt, throttle out. Peace out, y'all. Good night. Thanks for tuning in.